I've been broken down before. I don't wanna hurt no more. I just need to numb this pain. Another shot to keep me sane. Glass half empty as I pour. I thought I'd always be yours. I'm drowning to forget your name. It's just another heartbreak down the drain. Feels like you're giving me up. Feels like you've run out of love. I can't stand the thought of you not being the one. Feels like I'm the one who messed up. Feels like I'm just not enough. I've been broken down before. I've thrown you out and slammed the door. Who is it that you adore? Feels like I'm no longer yours. Is this the end of the line? What if I said I wanna try? Are you still even mine? Or have I run out of time? Feels like you're giving me up. Feels like you've run out of love. I can't stand the thought of you not being the one. Feels like I'm the one who messed up. Feels like I'm just not enough. I don't want to be alone. I feel that at all times. No, I've always called you home. Now there's nowhere left to go. Broken hearts just can't be solved. When did you become so cold? I've always called you home. Now there's nowhere left to go. Oh, no, nowhere left to go. 'Cause now I'm on my own. Feels like you're giving me up. Feels like you've run out of love. I can't stand the thought of you not being the one. Feels like I'm the one who messed up. Feels like I'm just not enough. I don't want to be alone. I feel that an all-time low. I've always called you home. Now there's nowhere left to go. Broken hearts just can't be solved. When did you become so cold? I've always called you home. Now there's nowhere left to go. Nowhere left to go. 'Cause now I'm on my own.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Oh, I don't deserve the applause. You're too much. It's really a lot. It's really too much. No, please stop. How are you guys today? I hope you're well. We had somebody completely take over the idea of the stream today. Just I had a plan. Was really like into my plan of doing a freestyle beat, which is I know is very innovative and unexpected. I was really invested in this plan, and then Anna Shinoda decided to like completely, what's the word? Commandeer the whole thing. Isn't that what the word they used to use? I don't know if anyone even uses that word anymore. They used to use that word in reference to cops like taking a vehicle. They just like would walk up to a car and like commandeer the vehicle. They would just take a civilian out of the car and say, "Sir, we need to commandeer your vehicle because we're chasing a bad guy." Like GTA, Hangout Delight Show says, like GTA, not quite like GTA, because GTA is doing it. That's crooks. That's murderers commandeering a vehicle to go riot and what's the like, I don't know, create anarchy. Anyway, so Anna Shinoda is going to be here in a second. Checking in on you guys. What's going on with you? Oh, you're literally playing GTA right now. 3 stars. We used to do a thing on GTA where we would see, we could never get to 5 stars. We'd see how much chaos we could create and just like blow stuff up and run people over, and like you basically try and find a rocket launcher ASAP and blow stuff up. No, I literally was trying. I was trying to get. I think I got to 5 stars a couple times, but that's I think that's an earlier version of GTA. But I don't know if it's harder or easier to get 5 stars now. Yeah, as soon as the helicopter shows up, it's over. Then you just get blown up. Stops everything, which is not what happens in real life. Oh my God, we've got so many. We got to do some shouts real quick because we have so many people gifting and stuff. Let's see, we got Eileen Fenner yesterday. Emma KS32, Emma Grindstaff gifted. Char1112 gifted. LWOS Justin P sub with Prime.
Snort.
Nenapoi gifted 5 sub gifts. Anna Trick sub with Prime.
Snort.
Princess Sage, lots of S's, sub with Prime.
Snort.
AVCP333 sub with Prime.
Snort.
Flower Power Claudie sub with Prime.
Snort.
House Ginger gifted 10 sub gifts.
That's a very special room bet.
Nana Poi gifted. House Ginger gifted again. The Fran Kid subbed. House Ginger gifted again. LP Buckeye gifted. Trisha317 gifted. Oh, sorry, LP Buckeye with 10.
That's a very special room bet.
Poggers.
Ali H gifted 10.
Poggers.
That's a very special room bet.
I America 777 subbed. Elena Hybrid Shinoda with 5.
That's a very special room bet.
Tim Man sub with Prime.
Snort.
LP Buckeye gifted 10 more. You guys are very.
That's a very special room bet.
You guys are very generous today. Celia France subbed. Katoda gifted. All right, you guys. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Hailing from small town in California. Unfortunately, the chair that she's chosen to bring in.
I can make it taller.
You can make it taller. You should make it taller.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna have to figure
You're
out.
gonna have to grab your headphones.
It's a new chair, so let's see.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Where is the camera, by the way? Okay.
Yeah. We're prepping. Are you ready?
Okay. Ooh, these headphones are really big on my head.
Well, you could. I could get you small headphones, or you could just. I could put the. Great. I'm prepping you here.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay, ready? Are you ready? Can you hear? I should get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Shinoda.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
you got a swirly swirl on your thing. Yeah.
All right. Mike is gonna stick around though.
I'm gonna stick around, but Anna's running the show.
I'm seeing you guys. Tell him to go away.
This is my. This is
that
not
one?
my drink.
Oh,
You
wait.
switch drinks
Oh,
with me.
sorry.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
don't want to drink your drink.
Go ahead. You're running away with.
I'm-
You're taking it away. Like I said, commandeered the show. Oh, hey Anna, would you do me a favor? Our spamming. Somebody pointed this out last time, or like was it last week? Our spamming filter is set to like only allow like I don't know what it is. How many emojis are you allowed? How many emojis? Not very many. Anyway, can you set it for like 15 emojis? I don't want them to spam words and whatever, but spamming. Oh my God, everybody's getting muted right now. Hang on a second. Let me just check this and see if that's like an error. All right, there, we're back to hype. Okay. Yeah, let's just change the bot to allow some spamming of emojis, not words. All right. 15, right? 15's a lot of emotes.
Can I start by talking about how good your lighting is in here and how
Yeah.
I would like to carry this lighting around with me always.
Yeah. I mean, you can thank them. They paid for the lighting.
Thanks, guys.
In particular, it's the camera, though.
Is
the
it
camera,
the camera?
The camera, they yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like my skin is glowing.
I mean, I look like I'm in a shadow right now. I look like I'm in the dark compared to you. I should actually slide over
Because I'm in the good light and you're not.
well, I mean, I'm also like falling off camera.
Okay. It's Mental Health Action Day.
It is. I want to
And
see what this is. Hold on.
Mike's
one
gonna
second.
answer like a
Hello?
spam call or something right now. I don't know what's going on.
You have a wrong number.
It's a wrong number.
Yes, 310.
So I'm so distracted. I'm so distracted by this wrong number situation. Okay, so it's Mental Health Action Day. And so this was put together by MTV, and Talinda and MTV invited me to do it. So that's what we are doing.
I didn't even know. She mentioned this yesterday. She's like, "Hey, here's what's going on," and like, can we do it?
Yeah. So
here we are.
Here we are doing it. So, I know that a lot of times, like when people think of talking about mental health, you're thinking about like the really super heavy, awful conversations that come along with mental health and mental illness. And today we are not going to do that.
Yay!
Poggers.
We're going to talk about things that bring us joy. It's mainly what we're going to talk about. And then I wanted to kind of like guide everybody on how to come up with a mental health plan, because this is something that I've done for myself, and it is really super helpful, because when you are in a space when your like brain is like fantastic and everything's going well, you're able to think clearly. But if you get triggered, you end up being in a space where you can't think clearly. And then if you're not thinking clearly, you might not be able to figure out what
Can
to
you
do in
guys
that
not
moment.
hear her very well? I can turn the music down. The reason I was leaning in here, sorry, Anna. The
That's
reason
okay.
I was leaning in here is because I wanted to like make you a little more, because we're farther from the mic. Maybe I'll just do this. Okay, hang on. There,
Okay.
that should be better. Now you can hear us a little better. No,
Okay.
you don't need to get closer. I just
Okay.
I just want to make sure they can hear you And part of that is, I just turned it up here.
What if I want to get closer? What if I?
Well, then I'm here. I'm right here.
What if I sit on your lap? Is
Well,
that
then that gets
That's awkward.
weird.
That's weird.
For the
Yeah.
fan. I think that gets weird for.
I don't want to make anything awkward.
I don't mind.
Okay.
But then if you sit on my lap, they won't be able to see me.
This
Which
is true.
the whole point of this is this Twitch stream is my ego. So then that doesn't work. Speaking of mental health, this is all just about me being important.
So, for example, last week.
Okay, so where did we leave off?
So we're talking about mental health.
I distracted,
Okay,
but hopefully you guys can hear better now. So.
Yeah, can everybody hear better? Okay. So I'm gonna give an example. Last week, I like got triggered by something, and for those of you who don't know the word trigger, that's when like something makes you feel something, and then like your emotional brain has taken over, and your logical brain is like out the window.
And by the way, like some of these, a word like that too, gets like taken.
Commandeered.
Commandeered, yeah. That's called a callback. People say triggered all the time, but when Anna talks about triggered, she doesn't mean like, oh man, I got upset. She means like, no, I was like, it's really serious. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's a trigger? If you people think, oh, I got triggered, that's like a 2. It's like a 3. I'm upset now.
Yeah, no.
Somebody tweeted something rude.
For me, like if it is a true mental health trigger that is triggering like anxiety or a reminder of abuse that I've been through, or even something that might trigger me into like a panic attack,
panic attack's like a 10.
It can be a 10 for me. And I was probably not at a 10 last week, but I was probably at a good 8. I was in a really bad space.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of like go through and figure out what do I need to do for myself in order to get my feet back on the ground, get my brain back into my body, get that logical brain working. And so I kind of relied on this knowledge of things that I have done before. So this is based on an exercise that I did with my therapist, and we are going to do it today.
Wow, how about that?
All right, first of all, Change Direction is the organization that I volunteer with, and you can go to their website and they have this information on the 5 signs and the 5 healthy habits. They have it as 5 healthy habits, and we're basically going to be talking about those healthy habits and be putting together this mental health plan. So, first thing on here is take care. And the question that you should always ask yourself when you are in a like emotional state is things like, when was the last time I ate? When was the last time I drank water? Did I get enough sleep last night? Have I taken a shower and brushed my teeth and brushed my hair? Because all of that stuff...
Am I still laying in bed?
Yeah. All of those things are things where, like, if you're not in a good mentally healthy space, you might not be doing those things. And you might be feeling like, oh, I'm just gonna like relax and be in bed all day because that's what I wanna do. Maybe the reality of it is, no, I need to get out of bed and take a shower, because showers can really help can help you start to feel better.
That's such a weird thing, right? Like for me, when I've been in had a stressful situation or stressful day, I literally feel like I'm washing it off. Like it's dirt. Yes. It's dirt on me. Like the stress is the dirt and it's on me and I'm getting it off me.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you think about it that way, then taking a shower. Never want to do a bath in that situation, by the way, because then I feel like I'm laying in it. Then I feel like I'm swimming in the dirty, bad day.
Yeah. I don't feel that way though.
I do. I feel, well, no, for you, baths are relaxing. Like,
yeah.
I just don't want to. Yeah, if I feel like it's on me, then.
But for
part
me,
of that
like-
is too
okay.
like the thing I'm specifically thinking of. It's combined with combined with allergies. So then I also don't want the allergy. You know what I mean? Like then it's
yeah.
very psychological. That's not real. That's not like a real thing. I just in my head it makes more sense.
But for me, like a bath, it's almost like a ritual. Like I'll light some candles, I'll get the bathtub going, and then I have this really amazing bath set that I want to say that Joe and his wife gave us years and years and years ago, where like it has like essential oils and you mix it with like some like Epsom salts and stuff, and like you throw that in the bathtub and it makes the whole room
Dude, we have
smell
some
great.
We have some crystal people in the
Yeah.
chat.
By the way, if crystal's your jam and like that helps you feel better, fantastic.
Do it.
I've got a pile of crystals next to
I
my
don't
bed.
care if like those little foam squishies are your thing.
Yeah.
If like collecting rocks is your thing,
Yeah.
do it. Fine. Crystal meth. Yeah,
Not
almost.
Not
You're
that-
on a different kind of crystal.
not that type of crystal. Guys.
That's not the kind of crystal that'll make you feel better.
That's gonna add to the problem.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fix it. Yeah, so like just those basic things of like, are you taking care of yourself? And by the way, I just learned this year that your body can start to have an anxious reaction if you haven't drinking enough water, because your body's like,
What?
oh, are you getting like dehydrated?
Oh my God. So
And
your body
starts to
goes
put
like
you into like a little bit of a panic because your body's not getting enough of what it needs. So things like drinking water, eating something, getting some sleep, bathing, those things are so important. Yeah. Do not forget to hydrate.
Chat knows I never forget to hydrate. I always hydrate, don't I?
Do you hydrate with coffee? Because that's not great either.
They're like in the chat. They're literally like, please drink something. They can tell that I'm like, yeah, my voice sounds all
Yeah.
rough.
Thank you guys for trying to take care of Mike in here. I appreciate it.
I don't need your help.
All right, so so that was the first thing on the 5 signs. I'm gonna go to relax, which is actually third on here, the little like yoga person. With relax, this doesn't necessarily mean like you need to do some like yoga or meditation. This means
Keep talking. I'm gonna
you
do something.
Oh, he's gonna do something. This means, is there like what do you do in your life that brings you joy? So like, because relaxation can mean doing breathing exercise and that type of thing, but what do you do to bring joy? So if you've got like a piece of paper or your computer or whatever, write down 5 to 10 things that bring you joy, because this is important for when your brain is like not mentally healthy. If you have a piece of paper that is printed up, or you have a list on your phone, you have it on your computer, and it's all ready to go, and you have these things written down, then you look at it and you say to yourself, I'm gonna do one of these things on my list. So I'm gonna write some things down while we're doing this. Gardening brings me joy. And that's what I did this past week when I was totally in like a spiral. I was able to take some time away from everything else that I needed to do, and I went out into our little garden and I planted our like spring and summer crops. So I planted our tomatoes, I planted our seeds for our cucumbers and our eggplant, peppers.
By the way, you guys, I put up one of the things I was trying to do here is put up on the screen for you guys to check out the website where you can just see some of this stuff. Like just go to giveanhour.org /change direction.
Yeah.
And you've got your
And
this,
while
that little card that Anna was showing you, like that's basically these things right here on the screen.
Yeah.
So you can find those. They let you, they print them out. You can, hang the posters. So you can just print these out if you want. Write stuff down. However you want to do it.
And by the way, on Given Hour, if you are, I think it's in the United States only. It's so sorry to anybody who's outside of the country, but we'll be talking about resources in a little bit. But if you are military or military family, Given Hour actually offers free mental health care. So that is on this website. So you can find a licensed provider who can give you free mental health care. So what are some things that bring you joy, Mike Shinoda? Going back to our list.
I mean, like the go-to stuff is obviously like making music, making art. Sometimes those things feel like, so what's tricky about Twitch, and one of the reasons why I felt like going from 5 days down to 3 is that if I do it every single day for a year and change, then that starts to not work for me. Like it just loses a little bit of the, I don't know what. So I started doing less of that it was almost like a preventative measure. Like I started doing less of that as a routine. And then second, started adding, so let's say special. And then started adding like the gardening stuff,
By the way, he's doing succulent gardening, which he bought me this dress.
It's got some, I didn't really even realize it had that. I just saw like flowers and like there's birds, right?
Yeah, there's birds and there's succulents.
Yeah, but I didn't realize they were cacti. So
very, very sweet that he bought me a dress with one of the things that he's like into right now.
Yeah, it's just pretty funny.
You're very sweet.
What was the other? Anyway, yeah. So that's good. I have not been exercising, and exercise is a really good one.
Yeah, we can. That was actually on my list, but we can talk about exercises now instead of later.
I mean,
because
what is there to talk about? How do you want to talk about it?
I want to talk about the fact that like there is exercise that we feel like we have to do, and then there is exercise that is super fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like. For me, if I feel like I want to really get in shape and like build up some muscle, I'll do like strength training. Circuit training. I don't like love doing it, but like I'll do it. But there's like exercise that I really love doing that's also fun for me. So hiking is one of the things that I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. Whenever we are near water, going out paddleboarding is something I really enjoy.
So Nanu said Beat Saber and laughed, but you laugh.
Yes.
You laugh, but that counts. Like it may not be your path towards like getting super in shape. I mean, depending on how much exercise you normally. If you get no exercise and you do Beat Saber, I guarantee you're gonna be like exhausted. 100%. It's way better than nothing. It's actually a pretty decent workout, but if the point of this is like if you're just having if you feel like down and that makes you not feel down, then that's the thing. Hold on.
Oh.
Anna doesn't know this song.
Yes, like Roger ducking his speed ball during our baseball game.
Oh.
He certainly has the instinctive reaction going.
That's not instinctive. I learned to duck.
Roger, you said that babies do things because of instinctive reactions. It enables them to survive.
True, but mothers and fathers
This is
have
like an
babies
Anna Reacts
mostly
video.
because of their need to love.
You need to love?
Yes, mothers and fathers get married because their need to love results in their loving each other in a special, beautiful way.
Oh.
That's happiness.
And a special love by a special person.
Gosh, what's love got to do with having a baby?
Oh.
This is what we do. Hold on, can we just play her the end of the song?
Having a baby.
We play the end of the song?
Rays. What a thing.
Oh, we're gonna jump to the end.
And then through gamma, out of sight. Between the eyes and ears there lie the sounds of color and the light of a sigh. And to hear the sun, what a thing to believe. But it's all around if we could but perceive. to know ultraviolet, infrared and X-rays. Beauty to find in so many ways. 2 notes of the chord, that's our full scope. But to reach the chord is our life's hope. And to name the chord is important to some. So they give it a word, and the word is...
Vagina.
Oh. Did not expect.
Is she blushing? I think she's blushing a little bit.
I mean, it's not false. It is true.
I was getting into the groove.
All right.
All right.
We totally distracted Anna. I
Where
think that
were
was that was a necessary break from. We
Yeah.
just took a little detour.
Listen, sometimes we just have to hear vagina. Vagina. Vagina.
It's the way that kid says it.
Yeah. There's a lot of happiness in that kid's voice. When they're saying
Yeah,
vagina.
just like I know a thing.
Yeah.
This is a word.
It's so
And
funny.
it's a body part.
It's so funny because when kids are little, they'll just like say all the words,
Yeah,
and then when they
all the
hit
words.
puberty, they do not want to say all the words.
Oh, it's great. They hit puberty and you can say the words to them and then they freak out.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Try
All right.
this, parents at home. Try this. If your kid is acting up and acting crazy, you think like, oh, they need a punishment. You think, oh, I'm gonna take away screen time, or I'm gonna, send them to their room or whatever. Try this. If you do that again, we're gonna talk about puberty. We are gonna talk about armpit hair
Yeah.
and testicles and vaginas. And those kids will be like, ah, no!
You know what?
And they will immediately stop.
A really good one too is uterus.
I find that just saying boobies works.
Yeah, I mean
Just-
it all works.
you
That's only for your like tween
Yeah.
and preteen like space.
Oh yeah, a 10-year-old has no, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, there is no worse punishment than to hear mom and dad talk about vagina.
All right, I don't even know how to transition out of this. Transition. Let's go back to exercise.
You know what's important is to pay attention not only to your body and what's changing in your body, but also what's changing in your mind.
Yeah.
And on that note,
And not that
let's
way.
talk about the mind.
So we were talking about exercise and exercise that you love. I saw people talking about like dancing silly and like, or like Just Dance. Do we have Just Dance or yeah, we have Just Dance, right? That's the one that we
Yeah.
And that's super fun.
I mean, all that. I feel like that stuff. You guys know that stuff.
Yeah, it's just anything to like get you moving, and there's actually like a biological component of that. I say it gets like the happy brain juice going, but that's not the actual word. I think it's like, is it serotonin?
This is where, but this is all. It's not the only thing. That's not the only thing, and this is where an actual doctor comes in.
Yeah.
You need to have an. Do we
Yeah.
know? Is there an actual doctor in the chat? I feel like this is asking, is there a doctor on the plane?
Is there a doctor on the plane? So yeah, it's like if you do a little bit of exercise, and then that can like stimulate the release of the serotonin in your brain, and and dopamine is the other
Do you
one.
get dopamine from exercising? Chat or Anna?
I don't know.
Endorphins. Look,
And-
that's why we say happy juices.
That's why I call it
Because
the happy juice.
it's complicated medical shit. And I am not a doctor. I will tell you that after I exercise, I feel better. So that isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, moving-
But if you hate
moving
running, don't
Don't
run. Go for a run. Like that's not going to help you in this case. Go like so write down the exercise that you like. If you want to write it down. I'm encouraging you to write it down because it's easier when you're like in a like bad brain space to look at your sheet of paper and go, I'm going to choose one thing off of this to do right now. So your thing might be I'm going to take a shower. Your thing might be I like to draw some of my joyful things. I like poetry, I like writing. I love reading. Escaping into a good fantasy novel brings me a lot of joy. So those are all things that like I know I can do. That's gonna That's gonna help. Another thing to do is to make some lists. So make a like playlist that has music on it that lifts you up and makes you feel happy. So like, what would be on your playlist of something that makes you feel happy?
I don't know if playlists are for me, I have lots of playlists and they are, I don't have a playlist that's designated to like that fits this.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
You know what I do? I put on albums that I know well. That's the thing. That's for me. Like I put on an album that I know, that I have good memories to, that I know the whole thing.
Oh, that's good.
You know. Yeah. Linkin Park for them.
I don't
put on Linkin Park. That's not what I put. I don't put on Linkin Park for just about any reason though. Like it is. I know all those songs. We were talking. Well, actually, I don't want to segue too far off of like this, but
no, you can segue. Like,
no, it's really random.
Okay.
And it's very distracting. It's about note. Remember we were talking about note. What's that called? Not perfect pitch. It's called melodic like memory or something like that. Anyway, that's what it was about. So just FYI, that's where my brain went, and I'm shutting it down. So
shut that down because that doesn't have
playlist of good music. Sure.
Playlist of good music, or like. You know, like I was super pissed the other day and I listened to Untouchable Face by Ani DeFranco, which was so angsty of me, but it was great because it was like, I was angry and that's an angry song and I felt like, yes.
Yeah.
We are angry together.
If you guys don't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't know Ani DeFranco, please go check out Ani DeFranco. Incredible songwriter and really interesting artist. ANI.
Is it Annie or Ani?
I think it's Ani.
Is it Ani?
It must be Ani.
Sorry, guys.
And I haven't kept up with what she's up to. This makes me realize since I haven't kept up with what she's up to lately, and knowing she's always been such an advocate for like women's rights and LGBTQ stuff, I also don't know. Like in my brain, I'm kind of like, she might go by they at this point. Like I don't know. Like
there's a possibility. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm making that up in my mind. But anyway.
Also, that I was gonna say that she's incredibly prolific, and so.
Oh my God, she has so much material.
So much music to listen to.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I always know that Hall & Oates will always make me feel better.
Hall & Oates?
Hall & Oates across the board. I can listen to that. It's going to make me feel better. I have a list of songs that I usually listen to while skiing. And if I turn that on, I get like the like peace and happiness that I have while I'm skiing. So sometimes I'll throw that one on if I want to. So those are songs that I know I can go to. Also on that list, maybe like a book that you read that you found really helpful, or a passage of the book, having those kind of like ready to go is really super helpful. Brene Brown's The Power of Vulnerability, I just reread that book because that was one that I was like, okay, I need to kind of revisit some of these ideas. So I like reread that, and that also helped. Another thing is like movies. What a great escape movies are. But obviously you want to like escape into something that's going to make you feel better instead of worse. So like choose something that is like a fun movie that you can just like relax and escape into. Christmas Vacation always brings me joy.
That's
always, 100% of the time, Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Funny.
So that's really something that I can like watch and just crack up. Next thing on the list is who are the people in your life that actually lift you up and make you feel good? If you are feeling emotionally vulnerable, it is a bad idea to call somebody who's going to say, I told you so, or like,
You think that's bad. Listen to my life.
Yeah, like, you don't, those aren't.
Let me distract you from your bad thing with a whole bunch of my own bad things, because my life is so important.
Those are not the people to call. The people on this list are people that when you call, they're gonna say, oh my God, that sucks. Tell me more about it. And then they're going to distract you with like not distract you, but like you can get distracted with them on something else. So like my best friend Tracy, I will call her and I will say to her like, this thing happened, and she'll be like, oh. And then the next thing I know, we'll be talking about, just like, she's an artist. Maybe we'll be talking about like her latest art show. She's also a teacher. Maybe we'll start talking about like what one of the kids in one of her classes did. And so I get the like, okay, like somebody is feeling for me. Somebody's giving me their empathy, and like I can vent to them, and then I can also though not get stuck just talking about that thing and move on to another topic. And that helps your brain go like, oh yeah, it's okay to like move into something else now. Super valuable is that list of friends. So, and I'm seeing that somebody said, I trusted the wrong people and now I don't trust anyone. I will tell you that I had to make a mindful decision of who I was going to have in my life, because there were friends of mine from college who were my closest friends in college, but they weren't like, they weren't
these people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, we've all got people that as you get older, your interests, align and separate, and yeah. So I think they get the point.
We weren't, but I had to be kind of like, I'm going to make a conscious decision to spend less time with those people and more time with the people who can have, who can lift me up and make me feel good. And it takes work. Like, it's weird to say like you have to work and spend time with those, like with the right people.
Well, yeah.
What is your feeling about this? Because I don't think that you've ever.
No, that's not true. I've had like, I feel like I just naturally, when I was in high school and even college a little bit, I would fall into like relationships and friendships. Oh, this music's way too crazy for me right now. I would fall into, like, you meet people, you're like, oh, they're cool, they're funny and whatever, and it's like, they're cool, and they're not like necessarily your people.
Right.
They're not your people.
You gotta find your people.
But you're like, but I like things about them, and then you realize, like, after a while, it's like, yeah, so the pros are in this category. They got a bunch of cons too, things I don't like. Like, let me think of a good example of something that happened isn't like terrible for the person. Because I'm just thinking, you don't know any of these people, but I just don't want to like say anything rude to something about somebody.
Somebody just said that their dog is the only person that doesn't judge them, and like.
Then you need to meet other people. Oh God, that's awful.
But also, like, isn't it great that you have your dog? Because that's
that's true.
Having pets, if you can have a pet, that's a huge benefit for mental health. Especially if that dog needs to go for a walk, because then you're also getting the like exercise part.
Cats, I don't know. Cats, you're like, tell them your problem, they're like.
You just say that because a cat would kill you.
No, I say that because I'm allergic to cats.
I know, because a cat would kill you.
Oh, you'll kill me that way?
Yeah.
Cat would also scratch me, yeah. I think, yeah.
So
I think what I was getting at with the friend thing is just be cognizant of, like, if a person does in your mind have like a bunch of things in the bad category where you're like, yeah, they're really fun and we do great, we have a good time whenever we're together, But, you know, and then on the other side, like, every time I talk to them, they spend the entire time venting. I mean, they spend like, or they are, I mean, something like, they are, I'm thinking of one person in particular that I know who is like really, really great. And I personally only had great experiences with them, but I watch them be very confrontational with other people. And I'm like, I just don't, that's a lot of drama. Like, you've never brought the drama to me, but then those other people are like, well, this person, like, and I hate each other. And I'm like, I don't know. You got on their wrong side. Like, what do you? I'm not in it. I'm not part of this. But I also don't want the drama. Yeah. Like, leave me out of it. It falls into the category of like, there's two categories where you can look at it. Either, life's too short, or I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, it's like, your drama is not my drama. Don't make it my drama. I don't give a shit at all. I care about my friends, and beyond that, like, if they have drama, like, you gotta learn to, like, you know, handle your own thing.
Somebody said that they had a friend that every time they had have good news, they'd call their friend, and they would turn it into like bad news. Or
oh God! Oh, yuck!
No!
You could probably, I feel like with some people you can say that though. Like with some people, they're like aware enough that you can be like, hey, do you realize, like, wow, like I was really happy about this thing. I am still very happy about this thing. And what you're saying right now is like actually making me feel like, it sounds like you're trying to make me feel bad about it. No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Ugh.
Yuck.
So those people, by the way, can be in like your life in one way or another, but if you're feeling emotionally battered, not the person to call.
Don't do it.
Put on your list the person to call. And you can even make a list of people to avoid when you're not feeling well, because sometimes you need to see it on paper to remind yourself, like, man, that person doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
And so it's okay for me to say, I'm gonna have a good boundary and I'm gonna avoid them if I'm like not in a good space today.
Yeah. When I was younger, I had more like, I had a wider range, like a wider variety. That there were people that I'd hang out with on certain occasions. So it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go to the bar, go to a party. Like, they're great people to go with. But then, like, beyond that, you'd never call them if you're like have a dramatic situation. That they're like a good party friend. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you get older, you're like, I don't need a good party friend.
Right.
At all.
I don't need any good party friends anymore.
I have no use for that.
And then another thing, and guys, it's gonna sound really cheesy, but make a list of things about yourself that you really love. Make a list of your strengths. Because sometimes when you're feeling just battered, you need to remember what the great things are about you. So, like, what would you put on your list of something that you love about yourself?
I feel like this is a thing. Is this
too personal?
Well, there's that. I mean, so yes, that's an element of like, I don't want to be sharing that with people, number one. But number two, like, that part of it may not be for everybody. Like, if I get really upset, then having to look at a list that tells me why I'm like, what my good attributes are, I feel like I've hit rock bottom in a sense. Like, I've hit a very low point if a piece of paper has to tell me why I'm a worthwhile human being.
All right.
That's for me personally. Right. And I know there's some people who are like that. Like, when that's the reason why you'll get like a joke about like people who put like affirmations around their mirror.
Yeah.
Because the people who would never do that, or who like that is like ugh too.
Yeah.
It doesn't resonate to those people. Vice versa, just don't make fun of each other. Like, because it does work for some people
Yes.
really well, that they go, okay, yes, I am a generous person, or I am a kind person, or whatever. But for other people, it's like, please don't tell me that I'm a kind person. Like,
Yeah. This is a super good point because something to keep in mind is that our brains are all different, right? So
yeah,
like what
do
works
what's good for you.
For me,
do what's good for you.
What works for me isn't going to work for you.
Right.
And what
totally.
works for you isn't going to work for me.
Totally.
And I think that one thing that makes our relationship work really well is that like you and I can be honest with each other of like, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very like aware of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like even I mentioned something to you last week and you had one approach and I said like, that just made me feel worse.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking
this
of
is what I need. And you just thought that you were giving me like constructive like, feedback.
And then later, like, wasn't it later,
Yeah.
like the next day where I was like, hey, have you realized that this is like timeline wise or whatever? I was like,
Yeah.
have you realized this is a thing? And you went, oh God. She like visibly got like, oh God, that's true. It was almost like,
It was really good because he brought up that it was just Mother's Day, and I'm sure you guys know if you follow me on anything that my mom passed away, and then like my relationship with my mom was really complicated anyway.
right. So the fact
like,
she's having like dramatic things going on in life, and it didn't occur to her that Mother's Day had just gone by, and I was like, so this is a thing?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh God, that's true. And
Yeah.
it's those weird like subconscious, she wasn't thinking that in the front of her mind.
No, but it all added up. Like
It didn't occur to me until days later.
Yeah. So anyway, so those things that I listed. We forgot to be holding up the card. So we went through like the take care. We went through engage. That's talking to your friends and talking to
This
the
is
right
the stuff
friends.
on this
Yeah.
side here. You can do these things.
Relaxing, and then there's the 5 signs of emotional suffering. And so the 5 signs of emotional suffering is when you have to like kind of evaluate yourself and be kind of like, wow, am I, having a personality change or feeling agitated or feeling withdrawn. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm feeling hopeless. So like it's important as part of this that you're kind of checking in with your mental health and being like, hey, where am I today? And if you're in one of these spaces of the 5 signs, then take action and do one of those things where you're, taking care of yourself or engaging with a friend or relaxing. And then the last thing on this list is checking in. And so now is the part where I wanted to talk about finding professional help. So if you are in a space where you're just like, okay, I'm gardening, I'm listening to the music I love, I'm calling friends to check in, I'm still feeling hopeless. If you are in a super crisis, you absolutely should call the suicide prevention helpline or the crisis text line. So the suicide prevention helpline is 1-800-273-8255. I have that phone number in my phone, and it's in my phone more for if somebody else calls me and then they're in a crisis, I can text them that information without me having to look it up. The crisis text line is 741-741, and those are the numbers for the United States. So if you are in the chat and you know of the crisis lines for your country that you are in, please do share those. And guys, just throw it into, this keeps falling backwards. Throw it into your phone. Throw it into your phone so it's like ready and available, because if you are in crisis or if you have a friend in crisis, you don't want to take those extra minutes to have to look up the information. You just want
think
give it.
of how much better it is to say, hey, I'm gonna send you this, I'm gonna text you this thing, click it and call, versus you should go look up the thing, and they're like, yeah. Like, you should go look up the thing is putting something in front of, like, a barrier in their way. So just send them the thing. Send them the note.
And I know in the United States, for those of you who do reach out to the suicide prevention helpline or the crisis text line, I've actually toured some of the mental health facilities where they are taking those calls. They only, because some people are like, I'm not going to call because I really don't want the police showing up. I know from talking to them, they say that they only send the police if that is a last case thing where they're like,
Last resort.
Last resort. Like if they're feeling like I've been on the phone with this person for a half hour, an hour, nothing I'm saying is helping them out of this. And if I don't call to have an ambulance show up at their house, then there is a possibility that this life will be lost. That's when they take that step. Otherwise, they are there to listen and help you through it. And their job is to help you through that moment. But then if you need further mental health, like professional help, then like you need to like take those next steps. And it's easier to take those steps when you're kind of like, I may want to see a therapist at some point.
Anyone who can play music on the piano,
Roger's back.
he does much
Roger is back.
Hold on, we'll come back to Roger. Go. All right, there you go.
Okay. We might need Roger after, because this is the only like really serious part, I think, of the conversation that we're really diving into.
I think we've gotten.
Oh, but I want to just talk about like how to do this. Like, because if you're in kind of a mental health space where you're like, I'm thinking like maybe I want to see a therapist. Great. That like now's the time while you're thinking like maybe I want to see them. Go.
I feel like the maybe is the part that is the exact moment when it's like, yeah, you probably should.
Yeah.
Because if you're considering it, then that's your brain saying like, hey, some stuff that I'm doing is not working.
Yeah.
Or I need like, imagine, if you will, if for the people in the chat who've said, the only person I've got to talk to that listens to me and understands me is my dog. Well, guess what? That doesn't have to be the case. Like, the people that when you go to a professional, they have professional training. They have professional, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, I mean, they could, you might need medication, but in the case where you don't need medication, they've got, I keep wanting to say tactics. What's the word I'm looking for? Like treatments. There's some treatments that they'll do with you that are conversational treatments. We got Shane Told raiding. Oh, it's a big raid. Hey, Shane Told. What's up, guys? We're talking about, what day is today?
Today is Mental Health Action Day.
Mental Health Action. It's a very interesting. This is the first time ever that we've done this on my chat. So if Shane Told, if you're raiding because of music, then you've raided on the wrong day.
Yeah, but
however,
I do.
We were just talking about before this. We went through some stuff, like basic stuff that you can do on a daily basis. So we're now at the point in the conversation where it's like, okay, if taking walks and exercise and taking a bath and talking to your friends and all those things are not working, then a therapist is somebody who's trained to help you. Like, they've got all the tools to get you into a healthy spot.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be expected to be able to get yourself there. Like, that's...
No, some people...
You might need a little help.
Some people are made a way that they need more help, and other people have been through things that are not your fault, that put you in a place where you need to get some... So it's like, think of that last one as like, okay, well, I injured my leg, and now I need physical therapy to get my leg back to working order. Like, this is the same thing, except it's your brain, and you saw something horrible, or you experienced something horrible, or even sometimes it's like, oh, I've had a car accident, and now I'm terrified of getting in the car. It's like, things can happen that have nothing to do with you, that are not your, they're not your fault.
And I will say about, somebody said getting professional help isn't affordable, it's expensive, and so let's talk a little bit about that. First of all, insurance, if you have insurance here in the United States, I don't know the other spaces, but for insurance, some people are like, I don't even know where to start. So here's where you start. On the back of your insurance card, there should be a phone number, and it's probably a specific phone number or a specific website for mental health services. Call this number, go to this website. When you go to this website, I actually went to ours last night because my therapist is retiring, you guys. So I need to find somebody new, which, it's kind of terrifying. I've been going to the same therapist for
Are you going to do it today?
18 years. I looked up names last night. I found somebody who I think I like.
This is big news to me. She just
Yeah.
did this, so I didn't know this. I've been like, for those of you in a relationship or those of you who are married, you go, what happens is you go, oh, like, that sounds really stressful. Are you still with Sue? Or have you like called anyone else? And so on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Mike will sometimes say like, when was the last time you talked to your therapist? When he knows that I'm kind of like in a spiral, and he'll be like,
well, it's like, I can't help. That's
Yeah.
the point is like when it gets to a point where it's like, oh, you've called your friend, you've called this person and that person, and you've talked to me, and we're still, it's been a week and we're talking about the same thing. And it's just doing this. It's been a week.
Yeah. So I went onto the website. I filled in the information. I want somebody who specifies in anxiety because I know that that's my big one. And it gave me a list of names in my area of people who are taking new clients that my insurance actually covers. And then it also listed as like in network and out of network, and it's all very confusing. And so last night I spent some time looking at different websites and kind of giving like a vibe for the different therapists. And there's one that is literally like 5 minutes from my house, and I liked the vibe on her website. So my next step is I'm going to have a conversation. It's going to be kind of like doing an interview because you have to really like your therapist in order to move forward with therapy. If you're going into your therapist's office and you're sitting there like, I hate this person, they should shut up, they're doing nothing for me, get out and get somebody else. There are too many therapists out there for you to like be able to talk to. As far as free resources, okay, so free resources, you are going to have to do work to find the free resources in your area. It is not easy work, so you gotta like be like, okay, I'm gonna go in there and do this. I'm going to try today, I'm gonna set up a Twitter thread so people can plop free resources in it. I'm going to also ask if anybody wants to send on my Instagram. If they want to tag me in like a story with a free resource, I will throw that into my story as well. There is in Los Angeles County where I am, LA County actually has a lot of free resources. So you can look at your city, you can look at your county, you can look at your state, you can look at, there's a lot of like group therapy free resources that are out there for like, AA, NA, Al-Anon, Alateen. Those are all group therapies for addiction specialists, but it is a form of group therapy. So you'll be going in and you are getting some help there. And there are a lot of different groups. There's groups for like, if you've had a death in your family, there's a therapy group for that. So this is where kind of like doing the legwork, going online, making the phone calls, like.
If I can give you a perspective to like get inspired, if this stuff resonates with you and you're interested and you go, but it just seems like a lot of work, like I'm busy and whatever. Think about the like, Anna was talking about, you're going to get what insurance covers, or you're going to get some version of free or discounted therapy. Think of the bill that you would get otherwise. Like if this is something that would motivate you, think of how expensive that bill is times the amount of time that you would actually go, right? So let's say like, oh man, it's gonna be $1,000 times like seeing them once a week for a whole year. So if your price tag is $52,000 because it's gonna be $1,000 52 times a year, and you put that in front of you as like, okay, I'm about to save $50,000 by doing this work, and I'm gonna do it while getting my head taken care of. Like, doesn't that sound like a pretty appealing? You get both things. You get the savings and you get your head figured out.
Someone just said, check out NAMI. Yes, that's a great
NAMI?
example.
What's NAMI?
National Association of Mental. Can you put it on? It's
NAMI?
NAMI.org, I think.
How come it didn't go up? Here?
And also,
NAMI,
there's a website put up for this day called mentalhealthishealth.us.
There's
So,
NAMI.
yeah, NAMI.
National Alliance. Okay, well there they
Of
are.
mental illness. They have great
They have a NAMI-con.
resources.
Is that for professionals though?
It's probably for professionals, but they have a helpline, and they are a really fantastic organization.
All right, there they are.
Change Direction and Give an Hour has done a lot of like partnerships with them. So really great organization. And also, please share resources that you know of here. Share them like as part of your Mental Health Action Day. If you don't mind sharing them with your social media, that's super helpful. And another thing is like if you have mental health resources specifically for different like groups of people. So for example, I'm going to link up some like specific mental health resources for like the AAPI community.
I'm laughing at the Geico version of 15 seconds could save you $52,000 or more on health insurance.
Haha.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so like because also when we, especially in like the United States, when we talk about mental health care, for different people in different like racial groups, that means something different. So, there are specific resources if you are in different racial groups as well. And so I will try and put links up to those in my Twitter feed and in my Instagram feed as well. So you do all this stuff, you come up with your list of things to do for yourself. If that doesn't work, you reach out to somebody professional, and that is part of like this whole big mental health thing. So that's my TED Talk.
Great.
Does anybody will this be on the test? Yes, it will be on the test. And you will all ace it. I hope that this was really helpful.
You don't need to cut it off. I mean, we can talk about any part of this that anybody, if you guys want to talk about more of it, and go back to some of the other things that we already kind of, covered.
Somebody said that they were seeing therapists in their country and they only made them feel worse. There's two things. One is sometimes with therapy you do feel worse before you feel better, but it shouldn't be like the therapist is making you feel worse. It should be like, wow, I'm working really hard and going through this. There's a difference between like being uncomfortable and then like it not working.
Yeah.
If it's not working.
So an example is if the therapist is encouraging you to revisit traumatic stuff, and that's what is uncomfortable or that's what's making you upset, then really the thing that's making you upset is the traumatic stuff.
That's part of the process.
And you've got to dig into it in order to get anywhere. Like if you don't uncover that stuff and work through it and come up with ways to tools to use when that stuff bothers you or like sidetracks your life, then that's the stuff. That's what you're there for.
But
that's the whole point.
There's a difference between that and
but sometimes the thing that
just not being a good fit.
I had an experience like sometimes you meet you just in talking to someone, you don't like what we call, like with a doctor, you call their bedside manner. Like you don't like the way they choose their words. Maybe it's because it reminds you of something or somebody you don't like. It's like, oh, they always use this phrase. I hate that phrase. It makes me feel like upset or whatever. Like, then you gotta find somebody else. Like if it's a personality thing, even if it's I don't like the tone of their voice, it drives me nuts.
That's not going to work for you.
Don't do it. Go somewhere else.
Somebody just asked,
Or put up with it. I don't.
what do you
go somewhere else.
What do you do to help somebody else? Like, what is? So first of all, I think when somebody calls me and they're really upset about something, I will listen to them and be really like sympathetic and be like, I'm listening. I am so sorry that this is going on. I'm so like, this is really tough. And being a good friend. But if we get to the point in the conversation where it's obvious that like being a good friend isn't going to be enough, I will say, if there's somebody who has a therapist, I will say like, hey, is there, have you reached out to your therapist lately? If they don't have a therapist and they're really in crisis and I'm feeling like I'm not able to help my friend right now, I will give them the suicide helpline or the crisis text line. I'll just be very straightforward about it and say, I am listening. I am not a professional. And it is okay to say to them, I am not a professional. I think that you may need to talk to somebody else. But
yeah, keep in mind, neither of us are professionals.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I will tell you that Anna has done more research on this than most non-professionals I know. So she sends a lot of people to the websites, to the people that are professionals.
Somebody just asked, what if a therapist judges me? If you are feeling that from that therapist, and that therapist might not be the right person for you.
I wonder what would happen
Different
if you said that to the therapist.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, this I will say from personal experience, that instead of internalizing conflicts and things you're feeling, by bringing it up in a non-confrontational way and just saying, hey, this just came up, like I'm feeling this way, and seeing where that goes. If the person reacts and wants to like attack you and whatever, then that's not on you. As long as you know you brought it up in a way that you were like, hey, this is how I feel, and I just wanted to talk about it. Hopefully it's not.
And then somebody said, like, what if you want to help someone and they don't want to get help? I think like letting them know that you're like there for them and that you want to listen is an important thing. But where is the rebel base? But
a lot of people join a lot of people come to this channel for good vibes.
Yeah. But I was gonna say something. I got totally derailed by
a lot of this music is you'll find that a lot of this music is very distracting because that's what we do here.
Oh, I was gonna say something about
I can change the music.
taking care of your own mental health in that situation. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of like one of my really close friends from college, diagnosed with bipolar. Was unable to like stay on her medication. It got to the point where like the phone calls were happening all hours of the day and all hours of the night. It was really to the point where like my mental health couldn't handle her mental illness. And so in some cases like that, you've got to make sure that you're like really taking care of yourself and your own mental health. And that's when we talk about good boundaries. Good boundaries are maybe, not taking the call, but like if you're worried about them, just sending them, sending them a text, I can't take the call right now, or, just being able to balance the good boundaries and taking care of yourself, and then also being there for your friend. Yeah.
So what's hard about that is sometimes you have to just draw the boundary and without telling them that you're doing it. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
But sometimes the people. We can all think of the people that if you were to tell them I am drawing a boundary with you, then they'll be like, either sad or personally offended that you've done that. And so it's better to just do it and not talk about it. You don't need to, it's not your responsibility to them to say, hey, I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
That's not part of the contract.
Yeah, you can just do it.
Just do it.
And you're
come back to them later.
Yeah.
Be like, look, I had, this is the reason I haven't been as available, but I care about you. And, you know, I'm just taking care of I'm taking care of myself right now.
Yeah. And it's, I mean.
It sucks that we both have to be taking care of ourselves right now.
Right. And I think that that's when it gets into like a really rough space because you want to be helpful, but also, and there's, by the way, if you feel that way, there are books about codependency because I am not a mental health professional, but I can say that codependency is sometimes the feeling that you have like.
I think that codependency is is it mental illness? What is it?
It's kind of part of like a web of things, right? So like
it's a dynamic.
It's kind of a dynamic.
So it's I'll say this: codependency is a subject that if you've never heard of it, if you only heard it if you've only heard it in conversation and you have like a very loose understanding of what it actually is, look it up and dig into it. And I guarantee you, most of you will be like, oh shit, that's a very specific thing that I do. Someone else I know is like really does a lot. I see codependency everywhere. I see it all the time. And it's crazy. I see myself doing codependent behavior and I'm like, that's crazy. Don't do that. I'm not supposed to say crazy, but I mean crazy like weird. Like I'm doing a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
It's really like codependency is where I land a lot of times because in like my family dynamic, that was where I was.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would say like the way I would almost describe it is the pressure that other people's happiness depends on me.
But you'd never acknowledge that. No one acknowledges that that's what they're doing because there's an ego involved.
Yeah.
There's either shame, guilt, or like an ego on the other side that's involved that like this person needs my help.
Right.
And if I don't help, like what does that say about me?
Yeah. It's
sometimes the help you can give is to send them to somebody who can help them.
Yeah. Codependent No More is I think it's called Codependent No More. Codependency No More is a great book. There's also like a book of like daily affirmations for the codependents. Really super helpful. And those I think are really helpful when you are feeling the like, I want to help somebody so much, but they don't want my help. And I'm scared because what if they hurt themselves? That's my fault for not helping them.
Yeah, just
that's an example of codependency.
Just substitute the word help with rock climbing. This person really wants to be a good rock climber. I am not a rock climber, but I just feel like if I don't help them, they're gonna hurt themselves. Segue to that person needs to go talk to a professional rock climbing instructor so that they can do it properly and not hurt themselves. Not you.
And your message can be, I love you. And
that was the worst metaphor. I'm so glad that I came up with that horrible metaphor.
The message can be, I love you, I care about you, and I care about you so much that I want you to get professional help. And what's I think hard for me is being able to say like, I'm gonna be okay with saying that and not blaming myself.
Yeah, totally.
For not fixing the problem. I don't have to fix every problem all the time.
Oh shit, we got another raid. Wait,
wow.
What is this? Heart support. Raiding with 40 people. Hello, heart support.
Hello, heart support.
Fans, you have based on the name heart support, it sounds like you're raiding for a reason. I feel like I don't know heart support.
Is this physical heart support or like emotional heart support is what I want to know.
Thank you for rating. And yeah,
Can I make a?
Surfing the Darkness was talking about you. Heart support.
Oh.
Yeah, so, you know, it's mental health. I keep wanting to say awareness, but it's action. Mental
Okay,
health
so
action
Heart
day.
Support says that they're a mental health nonprofit. Well, hello, Heart Support. Do you have a website? Can we look it up?
I'm sure they do.
Ran by Jake. How do you say that last
I
name?
can't- I didn't
Lures
see
by
it.
August Burns Red.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us, Heart Support. We've been talking about coming up with a mental health plan, which is everything from the things that we can do every day to take care of ourselves to how to find professional help, what to do in crisis. We're kind of doing some question and answers. We were just talking about codependency just now.
Codependency, yeah.
We are not professionals, by the way.
We are not professionals.
Not professionals.
The codependency, I was just thinking, somebody said, oh, that's a big subject when it comes to if you're talking about addiction and things like
Yes.
that. I realized that when I saw that, I was like, yeah, addiction. Also, like musicians, like the culture of music, there's a lot of codependency that is in there for a plethora of reasons. But yeah, there's a lot of, for anybody who's a musician. And I mean, look at managers. Like we actually our one of our managers at one point, one of our Linkin Park managers he joked that he's like the world's biggest codependent. Like, and that's why he loves being a manager. That's why if something bad happened for the band, he felt that it had happened to him. That's why he was a good fighter for the band. And he's like, it's a miserable life, but I love it. But I do it and I love it. I was like, you know, he had like a sense of humor about it. But there's a little bit of truth to that, right? Like sometimes if part of your job is service, then there's a built-in element of like, I did a bad job. If I did a bad job, then like it reflected on me and now I'm like a lesser person. So that's a hard thing to like pull apart. You even see that with musicians, and they're like, and even teenagers with their social media. Oh, I put this post up and it didn't perform very well. I put this song up and it didn't perform very well. Like those things are very tough for people to deal with, for all of us to deal with when that's going on, you know? So, we have a wide range, by the way, of ages, speaking of which, because we've got like, you know, I don't know. I think there's somebody like one point said they were 13 and then we've had up to like 60. So, you know, children to grandparents. 64, 43, 19, 14, 25. I feel like I'm like calling out lottery numbers right now.
Bingo.
It's bingo.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Yeah, what a huge age range.
Yeah. Huge age range. By the way,
over 900. Wow. Congratulations.
Those of you who are like college age or school age, you might be able to reach out to a counselor at your school in order to get some help. That's another resource.
Yeah.
And the other, wow, look at all these different ages.
I don't believe that you're 69 for a minute. I'm 69.
Okay, so by the way, I am gonna need to bounce pretty soon because I have, I'm a volunteer at my school and I have a call coming up that I need to jump on.
Yeah, I think we've hit a, I'm happy to stay on, but I was thinking of doing a freestyle like beat, and I don't think we're gonna do it. I think I'll do it tomorrow.
Are you gonna make something else?
No, I think we'll cut it today.
Oh.
So I wanna.
I'm sorry to the person on Instagram that I said that Mike would be making music to on this stream. I apologize. I lied.
I mean, I will be making music in general on this stream. Come back tomorrow.
Can we just chat? Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to say is I am going to do an Instagram live at 1 p.m. and that's going to be more of, there were a bunch of questions that people posed So I'm going to be answering those questions during that Instagram live. And if you want to chat with me on there, you can always if you have a question, you can always say hey, I have a question, and we can chat together.
Is it 1
We can do
p.m.
it that way.
Pacific?
It's 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is a few hours from now. I'm glad. Don't be sorry. I'm the person who said that to you. And by the way, thank you for saying I wanted to watch Mike make music, because I didn't want anybody to think that this was going to be a super heavy, super sad conversation about mental health, because it doesn't have to be that way. The reality is we can talk about mental health and have it be really positive, and talk about joy, and talk about just taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, I was looking at the Twitters to see if there were any good questions in there about some of this stuff, and I think we talked about most of it.
But if you do have further
one person did
questions,
ask
you can-
about bipolar, and
Yeah.
that's something that's very specific, and I don't think we should. I don't feel comfortable
Yes,
talking about bipolar.
I am not a professional in any way, but I will say this about bipolar disorder from friends of mine who have eventually gotten diagnosed with that.
It's always medicinal. You need beyond medicine, right?
Believe that it is this is something that needs to be treated with a medication.
Yeah, everyone that
in
I can think of
order-
always.
Yeah.
Once they got on the medicine, when they usually have to figure out the medicine,
Yeah.
and once they figured it out, the person is I feel so much better.
My friend Jeff Garvin, by the way, is an excellent person. If you have bipolar, or you know somebody who has bipolar, he is an author. He wrote a book called The Lightness of Hands, which is an amazing book where the main character has bipolar. And it's a fun book to read, because it's this, it's an adventure of a daughter and her dad, and they're magicians, and they're going cross country, but everything in the book is more complicated because of the main character's bipolar disorder. Jeff is a great resource. The name of the book is The Lightness of Hands. His name is Jeff Garvin. And he's a great person to follow on Instagram or Twitter if you like. And he has bipolar disorder himself. And so he's fantastic. And I would say with bipolar disorder, that is something do more research by looking it up on professional, get more information professionally, because it is. And thank you to Who's Murray for putting up Jeff Garvin, The Lightness of Hands on the chat. So yeah, it is, we get into different mental illnesses, and it gets complicated really fast, because again, everybody's brain is different. And even within those individual mental illnesses, what works to treat one person may not work to treat another person. And that's where the professional help comes in, and helping you find what works right for you.
Yeah, we were talking before about putting affirmations up around your room or your mirror or whatever, and how that's good for some people and not. Some works great for some people, doesn't work. I don't like that for me. The naming your illness, or naming your mental challenge, the thing, to say I have bipolar disorder, well, that's a bad example, because that is a very specific, and you have to treat it a certain way.
Right. And actually in that space, I would say that it's really important to be aware of that, because that's how you take care of yourself, is by saying, I have bipolar disorder, and these are the ways that I can help my brain function at the capacity. So
what I was trying to articulate is that with some things, medicine is designed the subject of the universe of science and medicine is to name things so that they can specify the diagnosis and the treatment and the differences between this version of it and that version, comparative analysis or whatever, right? Having those words for every single disorder and every single even emotional reactions you have to things. For some people, that's really useful and powerful, and they can say, oh, I have this specific anxiety disorder, and these are the things I deal with. For me, that's another thing that I just know about myself that doesn't really do much for me. That putting a name on things doesn't I don't know why that doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't care. Somebody tells it to me, like, if you were to say, like, I had this, like what I was experiencing had a name, in some case, I don't know, is this making any sense?
Yeah, so I think what you're trying to say is that diagnoses are so that there is a common language.
Right.
And that common language, for example, if
you can tell it to your doctor, and the doctor can know what it is.
So, yeah, or even like, okay, so your kid is having some problems in school, you end up getting them tested, you find out that they have a specific type of ADHD.
Right.
Okay, so now you can take that language, and you can go to their educational therapist, you can go to their emotional therapist, and you can go to the school, and you can say, my kid has ADHD. Here's the common language that we're going to use in order to talk about this. And they can say, oh, well, at the school, we know for other kids who have had ADHD that sitting them toward the front of the classroom can really be helpful. Okay, and so if you have the label, not the label, but the common language of that, it's great.
You said label, that's the thing that bothers me.
Into when it becomes a label, though, because your mental illness or the way your brain works should not define who you are. And unfortunately, this is why, by the way, I say my friend has bipolar, not my friend is bipolar, because Jeff Garvin is not
defined
the disease. Like, that is not who he is. He has bipolar. You don't say that somebody is cancer. You don't say somebody, right?
Well, some people are a cancer.
Maybe.
Some people are a cancer. But
Maybe. I mean, what month do you have to be born in to be a cancer?
Oh yeah, you're totally looking at it a different way. Can't I just be horrible to somebody and and wish that they were removed?
Yeah. So there's a difference between like having a diagnosis, so you have the common language, and having and being labeled.
Yeah.
And
so
I think the labeling is where you can get
tough.
into kind of like a dangerous spot.
Yeah. God, I'm just trying to see if there's any last.
Yes. See, there's somebody who was born in June because they're cancer.
You had cancer, and you're gonna tell people that you are cancer. I am cancer, but you are no longer cancer. Yeah, sorry.
All right.
So, I think we're good. I think
we're good. Should I leave and let you just wrap things up nicely, or do we want to leave?
No, you can stay for the ending here. Here's what we do. You do need to give me a little elbow room here.
Thanks for letting me commandeer and talk about this today, because it is super, super important. And because it's Mental Health Action Day, the idea is like, we're not just going to talk about it. We're all going to like do an action.
I dare you guys to, for those of you who have said this resonates with me and that sounds like me and so on, I dare you to do it. I dare you to do something about it. Today is your day. This is the day that you're going to do something about it.
And maybe
and while you do
if
that,
you already did this list today, and that's like enough for you for one day, maybe that is the mental health action that you did for today.
Ooh.
And then what can your mental health action be for tomorrow?
All right. So this raid of Aaron Wilson music was requested by Krista1CLR. Oh, before we do that, I got to do some shouts. Because we did shout outs in the beginning, but I want to hit some shout outs at the end here. Hang on.
By the way, I have no idea how he talks and
does this stuff
at the same time, because I would mess everything up. And
here we go.
Yeah.
Here's what we got. So here's our shout out screen. Boom. Hey, what happened to all the names? There they are. There's the names. So where did we leave off? We gotta do applause for the friends. And who did we had so much activity earlier.
Thank you guys for coming today.
LP Buckeye gifted 10. Celia Francis sub for 7 months. Katota gifted. Lila sub with Prime.
Smart.
Very smart. Nanapoy gifted. Daystrom subbed. Malarkey sub for with Prime.
Smart.
There's a lot of A's in that name. Stephanie Hunter sub with Prime.
Smart.
Kim Mute Girl 08 subbed. Water Polo Trev 67 sub with Prime.
Smart.
You're very smart.
Should I be clapping during all
No,
this?
you are. I mean, you are like
Okay.
they can hear you. You are clapping. RMZ Elaine 17 subbed. Qn 909 subbed. Maximus 1865 subbed with Prime.
Smart.
House Ginger gifted to Kinsuku. Hello Kinsuku, who's probably gone by now. LP Buckeye gifted. Brave Nuts sub with Prime.
Smart.
Alex Z MMA sub for 10 months. Tier 1. Jekko Plays sub with Prime.
Smart.
BG1119 subbed. XX Tats 24 sub with Prime.
Smart.
Rimmer SB subbed. Mary Akira BR sub with Prime.
Smart.
Riri subbed. House Ginger gifted. Rob the Lobster gifted. LP Buckeye gifted. Shane Told rated. Killjoy 641 Live sub with Prime.
Smart.
Damn Eloise subbed. Mocha B sub. Mama Jen's Prime.
Smart.
Judith SR25 Prime.
Smart.
Devil's Appetite subbed. M Cell. Glazrain. Cavita gifted. House Ginger gifted. Yep, John is back subbed.
Smart.
Shout out to Heart Support for the raid. House Ginger gifted. Duriras sub with Prime.
Smart.
House Ginger gifted again and again and again. Seth Drums subbed. Nanapoy gifted. Ali H had 5. Gifted 5 subs.
Poggers.
Trisha 317 gifted. Lee 7 sub with Prime.
Smart.
Janae gifted. House Ginger gifted. Elena Anna Shinoda gifted. I'm a Grant sub. Grind Staff gifted. Alex 855
Smart.
is smart and sub with Prime. LP Buckeye gifted. And Michaela Horokova gifted. That was a lot of gifts.
Is it usually that
that was a little longer one. I mean, that was the second half of the program.
by the way, there's a website for today. It's mentalhealthishealth.us. So you can go check that out.
Mentalhealthishealth.us. You also had NAMI.org, NAMI.org, and of course, givenhour.org. Don't forget, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, you can get a subscription to this channel as a complimentary add-on. You don't have to pay extra. We are rating Aaron Wilson music, which was requested by Crystal 1 CLR. That might be Crystal CLR. And I will see you guys tomorrow. There you go. This is where the raid is happening. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for joining. I hope to see you tomorrow. Say bye to Anna Shinoda. Spam hearts in the chat.
Oh, bye. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're out of here. See ya tomorrow.
Poggers. That's a very special wombat.
Nice.